So we are now recording the October 4th, 2019 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Happy Friday!
Hello. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday with our new little doggy.
I had to get a cat collar because I needed a bell. Because she's so quiet.
Aww.
Dog's name is DOG?
Huh?
The dog's name is DOG?
No. That would be good. Ooh, where are you going?
Shelby. Shelby is her name, and she wants to escape.
Yes, she does. She was sleeping on me a little earlier, but.
Aww.
She's cute.
But I put spray cheese in that little Kong over there, so she,
She can hang
I've
out.
never had much luck with the spray cheese in the Kongs. It just ends up all over the house.
We put peanut butter in ours and it does the same thing all over the house, but they do eat it. Peanut butter in the Kong.
Yeah. My favorite thing with Sophie when she was a puppy was she would take the blankets and she'd like to chew little nice holes in the blanket. So now I had a couple different dogs there, so it was always great until one of the dogs would go under the blanket and decide it wants to get out from under the blanket. So here comes the doggy's head popping through the hole. And now you've got a ghost dog, basically. Just stuck.
Yet another similarity between your Sophie and mine. Just kidding.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
I put a little blanket over the, like I did here, but I had a blanket over the crate in the kitchen that she's sleeping in. I came in this morning and she, I guess, got, with her teeth, and she had pulled most of that blanket inside of it. I'm like, you're supposed to be in this nice little cave. And she's sitting there going, oh, look, son.
Hello. I want to see what's happening around me.
Yeah, so.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him.
All righty. Well, my news is October is price increase month.
I like it. Only is it for us to increase the prices on the clients? Darn.
No, it's our software increasing our prices on us.
I'm doing the other. Raising the prices on the clients.
Here's the thing. If I think my client can absorb more money, more fees, I want it to go in my pocket, not their pocket.
Yeah, well, it's getting to be an annual thing.
Cost of doing business. Now, on the flip side, I got a renewal for my insurance today, and, when I used to have, offices, I carried a lot of insurance because if the place burns down, I'm like, well, how much do you need to reset up an office? But these days, I don't need $80,000, $90,000 to set up an office, So
Besides, if you switch to Geico, you'll save 15%.
That's right. But when you think about, I don't know, the ones that have been in business a long time, and I've built offices and had multiple offices in the last 30 years, and phone system and computers and a network, it's really expensive to set up an office. But these days, you need a really good laptop and
Everything's virtual.
yeah, and monitors. Mike, do you all remember the monitors they were like, over $1,000? That was like the cheapest you could get when the good size was, other than those little 13 inches,
Right. Oh, yeah.
My first fax machine was $1,300, and I couldn't afford the phone attachment. I was without the phone. Thermal,
What did Seth say about the faxes? Can you fax me, please? Well, I don't have a fax machine. It's not available in my area. What area would that be? Oh, 2019.
That's right. What area? 2019.
Oh, I still have a fax machine just because I need to deal with the IRS.
The IRS, they're antiquated.
That's the only reason I have a fax. Yeah.
We have one client, when they send us to work, they walk down the sidewalk to the UPS place.
Oh, my goodness.
To us.
That's
Yes.
where I do my faxing from these days. My landline, for whatever reason, something happened and it would no longer fax, and I just put it off, and I'm like, wow, it's been a year and nobody has needed this fax machine, this fax line. Why am I even bothering fixing it?
Well, I'm
You guys
using,
do know you can use eFax where you just scan
Yeah,
a document in
Yeah,
and
yeah, we do know that. I do know that. I don't even want to set up an account. It's just as easy for me to walk over to Mail and More and just send the one fax that I need, you know?
but
I can't remember the last time I needed to fax. If we need to do business together and you can't fax, I need to find somebody else.
that's what you're doing. But when you think about all the equipment that we used to have, copy machines. You know what
Copy
we paid for our original copy machines? Oh my gosh, we paid on those things for years. And then one of the printers a couple of the printers we have the little feeders on the top, and one's been acting up. And Angela's like, we need a copier, and I'm like, wait a minute, let's roll back a minute. What are you copying?
Right. What do we need major copy jobs
Yeah,
for
what do
now?
you use it for? And so she told me, and I'm like, drop that in a scanner. You can print. What's it?
I remember working in a
print
CPA
it.
office at tax time. They would buy boxes of copy paper. Like I think we bought like 7 or 8 cases of the copy paper to go through for tax season. I'm so glad we don't do that anymore.
wow.
Save a few trees.
I remember when I bought paper last. Honestly, I don't. I mean, I don't print anything.
Right,
And,
right.
It was 2013.
Yeah.
I like to hold and scribble.
I have my Rocket book for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Well-
scribble and wipe it off.
That's
And then
right.
we used the page.
And save it.
Something else happened. Oh, I was gonna say something else happened this week.
Go ahead.
We finally had the deadline for turning in our presentations for QuickBooks Connect. That was yesterday. And boy, I tell you what, today feels a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many hours sleep did you have this week, Matthew?
If I got more sleep, I would be able to count that low.
No.
7:30. I'm like, I texted him and he texted me back. 7:30 here.
But I'm really pleased with how it turned out.
That's good. Yeah, then that a big relief. We got the call to papers for scaling.
Yeah. Why did they do that now?
Isn't that a little early?
That's what I'm saying.
Early, and we're in QuickBooks Connect mode, not scaling new heights next year mode.
My brain's not there, but
It's because they want everybody who just finished their presentation to very quickly take and write down the titles a little bit different and submit.
And do it again.
Yep.
So they're trying to help us. Good thing I saved all my my submissions for QuickBooks Connect. I can just copy and paste them in.
There you go. Well, Dropbox was a surprise for me, going up in price.
But they made some big improvements to it too, right?
They supposedly did. I haven't played with it a whole lot, so I really don't know. And going up in price to me, I'm at the low level. The price that it's increasing to is $120 a year.
and this is a business Dropbox.
Yes.
Throwing up $1.
No, it was 99, I think, wasn't it?
I'm $199.88 is what mine's going.
$20.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. That to me is still worth it. I'm not sure about what new improvements they've made and if I'll really need them, but we'll check it out and see what's happening.
They're supposed to be, they're trying to do more like app connections. And so making it to where other apps can connect into it and do things within it. Like you're supposed to be able to start to edit CAD documents from within it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
can say
When
I-
you're using it online and not local.
I don't know for sure. I was looking at their blog, and their blog was talking about all the different things that they're trying to make it like smart. They call it like smart documents or something like that. The name is weird, just their catchy way of saying it. But a lot of additional ways that you can access into different programs straight from Dropbox was kind of the whole gist of it, including I thought some Zapier stuff too, but I don't know what that would be for.
What I like about Dropbox is it's everywhere. No matter what you do. If you're going to save a document, there's Dropbox.
Well, that's what I like it for, the ease of use, and because my clients can use it. That in a nutshell is it. Well, the clients can use it and you know, don't have a problem saving to it. But here's what they're telling me. Double my storage, world-class syncing technology, Dropbox Rewind. So the rewind is roll back accidental changes to any folder or your entire account for 30 days. So that almost sounds like a backup.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, if you delete something in Dropbox, you've always had 30 days to go back and undelete it. Or like in my case, if a client decides to just go crazy and they just delete everything in their Dropbox and then say, well, that's just too bad. I gave it to you. And then you can, and then you can go back and undelete everything. But I've actually never had to pay for Dropbox because I have like 80 gigs of storage right now.
That was where I was at. I kind of felt like we had an advantage with Dropbox because all the clients that I had, you know, everyone, I was recommending Dropbox and getting that extra gig, you know, storage space and all of that until I got to a point where I didn't need to pay it. But so now I'm at the lower level.
I had it happen with me. I don't use Dropbox because I had it when I was doing what you're doing. And I had my personal tax return in one of the folders, and a client who did not have access to that folder got into that folder and then let me know that they were able to get in that folder. And it was a totally separate thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not paying for it and you can't even complain. So I closed everything down, pulled everything off and put it on ShareFile at that time. And now everything's in Lisio, but it wasn't secure. So, you know, you have to pay for things usually to make sure things are safe.
Right.
Anything like even
Was
free,
that
like
a long time ago though?
it was.
And I think that they have changed things.
Mhm.
They did, yeah, after.
It freaked me out though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All you need is that to happen one time and that's it.
Yep.
That's a one and done.
All this stuff terrifies me.
I'm glad she told me she could get access. She's like, I want to let you know something. I'm like, it was this whole separate file. And then she was not on it. I looked, it was not attached. It was my own file. And she wasn't shared.
That makes a case for me of actually putting it somewhere on a portable storage.
Separate,
At
yeah.
the end of the year. I used to preach to my clients to do that. You know, don't rely on Dropbox completely and solely for your data storage. Download it at least once a year and put it somewhere safe. You know, and I've said thumb drives, but some of this, you know, now the data is much more data.
Yeah.
So
I can remember I had a desktop client, this is up when I was in Rhode Island, and he was so proud of himself because I had to train him to back up. I mean, you need to back up. And I think I started working with him because he didn't back up. I had to help catch him up. And I remember when I went in to see him the year later, he's like, you're going to be so proud of me. And he was an auto body guy that did like all the upholstery, a big shop, all sorts of like welding and everything going on. And I said, what should I be proud of? He goes, look, I made a backup. And he pulled the disc out and he goes, and I have it right here in the desk drawer. And I said, that's great. What happens if there's a fire in here? And his face was like, right? Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, he didn't think of it. He didn't think about it. And then he started taking it home, which was good. But that was back in the day.
good.
Back in the 80s. Those were good years. Bad hair, but good years.
A lot's changed since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and similar to your story, Linda, I worked at a car dealership and we had this big server and it had these cassette tapes and to back up. So we'd we'd put the cassette in the server, we'd pull the cassette out of the server, put it back in the case, and then set it directly on top of the server. And when I questioned them, I'm like, should somebody be taking this home, or shouldn't it be stored somewhere off-site?
Yep.
No, this is how we're doing it.
This is a whole procedure and different days for different cassettes, and when you went
Yeah.
home, you took this one with you. And
Those days are. Mark still takes. He has a bag that he swaps back and forth.
No, I don't.
Out there by the door. What's in that?
Oh.
That's not. That's just drives I've got. That's personal stuff.
oh,
Old drives. I gotta look. I gotta check.
You did a whole bunch of extra backups for the hurricane, I know.
Oh well, I did. Yeah. So we did dump that one image of your servers. So,
Yeah.
but that's not a regular. That was just a belts and suspenders kind of thing.
But I tell you what, that online backup compared to the old days with first we had the big tapes and then the little tapes and then the little tapes and then we had we had all kinds of crazy stuff.
right.
But yeah, we always did the rotation and everything because I have a company that now this is before computers, the big black books. But they had AR cards. Remember those?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Every client was on a card and it was in this thing, and hey,
You almost made it.
I'm hungry. He knows where the kitchen is. Anyway, they got firebombed on Sunday night. This somebody had been bombing. You had been throwing those
Molotov cocktails.
into businesses for a couple weeks, and the guy was on a bicycle. He was on his way to where the boats were. That's what he was going to hit next.
That's it. Done. That's it for me. Might as well just take it down.
Anyway, my client had been taught by his father to put the AR cards in the car with him every day when he went home. Every single day for 40 years. Because he said, vendors will tell you what you owe them. Your customers won't tell you what they owe you.
That's right.
That saved us.
Wow. For 40 years of putting that into his car, that one instance was worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
One
I was
instance was worth it.
and everything. Where's the dog?
That's so funny. Knew that was coming.
Yep. So Bill.com was the other price increase. So Greg, you're using Bill.com? Is anyone else? No?
I am using Bill.com, and so they give me like a portal thing to manage my clients. I got like 5 or 6 clients utilizing Bill.com, and I'm just trying to see if I can pull up my current existing
Well, our
just
portal is
so that I
going.
can see what it is comparatively on the price increase, what it's gonna
Okay, the
impact.
monthly base client fee was $29 before. It's now $45. So if you're an accountant and want the accountant dashboard, you're now paying $45 a month for that, in addition to the other charges.
That's for every staff that you have that has to dial in, right?
So I have, I guess they call it the premium sync because I'm paying $49 right now. So that's that second item. Your monthly base client fee for premium sync is $49. So that's going to go up $20 a month for me. And then the per transaction fee is going to go from $149 to $169. And so I'd have to drill into the details, but figure if that's, maybe about a 10% price increase on that, and I pay another like $250, another $25. So it's maybe another $50 a month overall for me to continue to offer the service.
Well, that would be the reason why I make them pay. I pay for my accountant portal and my information, but I make them actually pay the subscription fee and the per transaction charge. So they will see that increase. I'll see the increase for the client portal or dashboard. But for me, it's still worth it. If you have anyone that has a large accounts payable, it's a lot easier to deal with it. Now, if you've got 20 checks that you're paying a month, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. But if you're putting out 100 or more checks a month, it just makes it so much easier. So much easier. And then the other thing is, are you doing the work or is your client doing the work? For the client to be able to be in Bill.com and leave QuickBooks alone, that's almost worth the price itself.
Well, the controls can be worth the price too.
Yes.
The ability to have controls, especially in this day of spoofing and business email compromise and all that. So, did they say why they're raising their rates 50%?
They did not give a reason. They just said this is what we're doing.
No, because they can.
Pardon?
Because they can.
Because they can. But you know, when you look at the amount of money you're saving for paper checks and all of that, it's still worth it. There is still you know, I feel like that they take a long time to get the money from one bank to another. But when you look at it compared to writing a check and getting the funds into your account, it's still comparable to that.
It's even faster than that, because you figure by the time that unless you're delivering the check to somebody right in the same building as you, just the mail alone is going to be a day or
take
two.
longer than that, right?
And
right.
you're talking on an e-transfer, like typically it's a 3-day turnaround for that. So it's inconsequential to a certain extent, but just the not having to process a paper check on the other end is also a saving of.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, go ahead.
Bill.com is they don't expose your checking account.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. But then again, they draft all the money right up front.
They draft, I'm sorry, say that again, Sarah?
They draft, like if you have a check run, they draft it just like direct deposit, regardless of when it clears the bank.
Right.
Which makes your bank recs fast and easy. But if somebody loses a check or doesn't cancel a check, it gets a little weird, but it works.
Well, it's a little weird, but at least you have the visibility into it on the Bill.com side to see which checks haven't cashed.
Right. They will notify you. They will let you know, and you know that.
They'll even refund the money if it goes stale. Mm-hmm. After 90 days, they'll refund that money to you. There it does get into some wonky accounting at that point.
And that money in, money out account, you just have to watch that and just know that you have to reconcile it every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's still working. It's working for the size of the client that I have and the flow, the actual flow. I can't get another flow out of either QuickBooks Online or desktop that I could get out of Bill.com. And the approvals.
The approvals,
the approvals are big too.
Auditors like it. The problem with Bill.com is I have to pay to let the auditors in. So if I have an audit team, like 3 auditors, I have to pay for 3 auditors. And if they don't finish the audit right at the end of the month, I got to pay for a whole month.
But do they need to be in Bill.com or can they be in QuickBooks and get the same info?
No, they need to witness the bills.
Okay, and that to me is one of the biggest downfalls of Bill.com is the way that they handle the bills. I like having them attached, but you have to go into each one of those bills individually. If you have a vendor and they say, we want to see, you know, what you've paid us for the past year, you have to go into each individual bill to be able to print it out or save it as a PDF and send it to them. which
Yeah.
is really
That's why I let them view. I just say, okay, here's your login. Go look up what you want. So
right.
usually they're doing, they're either tracing a check and going backwards, or they're starting at the general ledger and going forward. It, depends on who's auditing.
And Sarah, you use Mineral Tree.
I use Mineral Tree. Now, Mineral Tree has a different billing model. Mineral Tree lets me have unlimited clients, unlimited users, and you just pay per check. So I buy blocks of checks. The problem is they came up with this idea, for the accountants and everything, and then they were losing their shirt because they don't have a way to onboard the clients. It's so manual. Well, if they're onboarding a huge client, it's worth it. But I say, hey, I got a new client and they're doing 50 checks a month, and it takes them 2 days to help me set it up. They've lost their shirt. So
Right.
I don't think they advertise it anymore, and I think I'm just sort of grandfathered in. But the reason I like the billing model, I also like the fact that I don't have to do anything in Mineral Tree. What I didn't like about Bill.com was I had to put my bills in Bill.com, and then it trickled down to my books. Whereas I just want a service I want to finish my payables, click a button, it goes to the client, I'm out of it. The client's going to approve it, pull the trigger, pay the bills, I'm done. But I want to stay in my environment. Here she goes again.
So am I correct that Mineral Tree actually enters the bills for
It
you?
has a two-way sync, which means I don't have to use Mineral Tree to enter the bills. I can just stay in QuickBooks. I stay in QuickBooks and it's syncing as I'm working, and it's just going up. The only thing I have to do
actually entering the bills in QuickBooks.
because you know what? If the vendor's not there, I set up a vendor. I can do the the whole 1099 thing. I can't do all that. Like even with Bill.com, I had to make sure my vendor was set up properly. There's still that dual monitor.
No, I get it.
So with Mineral Tree, I do all my work in QuickBooks. It's syncing, and when I'm ready for them to approve, I go in and I submit. And then the next time I sync, all the checks come down because the checks go out the next morning. And so it doesn't know the check numbers until the next. See, it doesn't do that direct deposit thing like Bill.com does. It's pretty much just in between you and like, how nice you can't get in. So, it's a different flow, and it's a flow that works really well for me. But like I said, until they come up with an interface where we can onboard our own clients and take all their labor out of it, they're not going to make any money on it.
Right.
So, and they were originally written for ERP, big clients. But I think they wanted to start getting into the, competing with Bill.com and all that, and then they just backed up. But
All right, everyone. Have a good weekend.
all right,
Bye.
Bye.
It is about that time. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about before we end for the day?
No, I do. I'm going to play some more with ClickUp. I think Seth is going to have some more.
That looks interesting. Yep.
ClickUp. I'm really falling in love with it. So,
She's outside the
play with
gate.
He's an escapee again.
I'm very glad you can't get in.
love it.
Quick announcement, the next desktop time, Linda Russell and I will be panelists at QBEX.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, that'll be fun to join Chris again. So
Chris is awesome.
Chris is awesome. And let me see the date of that. That is
Like a dream team.
the 16th, 4 p.m. Eastern. So,
Cool.
all righty. Well, we will see you all same time, same place next week.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Yeah.